Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we diving deep into one of the most emotional and confusing moments in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. The final scene of Avengers Endgame. We all remember it. After returning the Infinity Stones, Steve Rogers doesn't come back through the time platform. Instead, Bucky spots an old man sitting on a bench, and it's him. It's Captain America, but he's lived a full life. He hands the shield to Sam Wilson, passing on the mantle. It's a beautiful, tear-jerking moment, but it left so many of us scratching our heads. Wait a minute. Didn't the Hulk in the Ancient Ones specifically say that you can't change the past? When Banner tries to take the Time Stone, the Ancient One explains that change in the past doesn't alter your future. It just creates a new, divergent timeline, a branch reality. So, if Steve went back to the 1940s to be with Peggy Carter, he would have created an alternate timeline. How could he possibly end up as an old man in the main MCU timeline, the one we've been following all along? It seems like a massive plot hole, a direct contradiction of the movie's own rules. For years, this has been one of the biggest debates among Marvel fans. There are two main theories, and both have strong evidence, even from the creators themselves. So let's break them down. The first theory, which we'll call the alternate timeline theory, is the one backed by the directors of Endgame, Joe and Anthony Russo. According to them, the rules established in the movie are absolute. When Captain America went back to 1945 and decided to stay with Peggy, he did, in fact, create a brand new timeline. In this separate reality, he lived out his life with her. In this timeline, there would have been two Steve Rogers, the one frozen in the ice, and our Steve. Living quietly with Peggy, he would have had to keep his existence a secret to ensure events played out as they were supposed to. He'd watch his other self get thawed out, lead the Avengers, and eventually go back in time himself. It's a bit of a paradox, but it holds up. Then, as an old man, after Peggy had passed away, he would have used his Pym particles and time travel suit one last time to jump from his alternate timeline back to the main MCU timeline at that specific moment, on that specific bench, to give the shield to Sam. This explanation perfectly aligns with the time travel rules laid out by the Hulk and the Ancient One. No rules are broken. It's clean, it's logical, and it preserves the integrity of the main timeline. But then, there's the second theory, which we can call the single timeline loop theory. This one comes from the writers of Endgame, Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. They have a different, more romantic interpretation. They believe that there was only ever one timeline. In their version, Steve Rogers going back was always part of the main timeline's history. This means that the entire time we were watching the MCU, from Iron Man all the way to Endgame, old man Steve Rogers was secretly living his life somewhere in the background. It also implies something huge, that Peggy Carter's husband, who was mentioned in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, but never shown, was Steve all along. He was her husband, the father of her children, and he kept his identity a complete secret from the world, and even from his younger self, to protect the timeline. This theory suggests that history is a closed loop. Steve was always destined to go back. His presence in the past didn't change anything, it fulfilled it. Think about it. When Steve gives Sam the shield, it's his original shield, but broken and repaired. But the shield he hands over is a brand new, pristine one. Where did it come from? In the alternate timeline theory, he could have gotten it from that other reality. But in the single timeline loop theory, it's a bit more mysterious. Maybe Howard Stark made him a new one in secret. This version is definitely more poetic. The idea that Captain America is always Peggy's partner, living quietly in the shadows, adds a layer of beautiful, tragic romance to their story. It means that his happily ever after was part of our timeline all along. So, which one is correct? Well, that's the million-dollar question. Officially, within the MCU, subsequent shows, like Loki, have heavily leaned into the alternate timeline theory. The introduction of the Time Variance Authority, or TVA, whose entire job is to prune divergent timelines created by Nexus events, strongly supports the Russo brothers' explanation. According to TVA rules, Steve staying in the past would absolutely be a Nexus event, creating a branch reality. The Loki series basically codifies this as the law of the MCU multiverse. Any deviation creates a new branch. Simple as that. This makes the director's version the most likely canonical explanation. However, the writer's single timeline loop idea is so emotionally satisfying that many fans prefer to believe it. It feels more complete, tying up Stevie and Peggy's story within the single narrative we've followed for over a decade. It doesn't require him to abandon an entire reality to come back. Instead, it means he was always there. It turns the entire saga into a perfect, self-contained story for Captain America. So, what do you think? Do you subscribe to the logical, rule-abiding alternate timeline theory from the directors? Or do you prefer the romantic, poetic single timeline loop from the writers? In a way, Marvel has cleverly left it just ambiguous enough for fans to choose the ending they prefer for Captain America. It's a testament to the power of his story that even his final moments can spark such a fascinating debate. Maybe the real answer is that Captain America, being the one in a billion super soldier, somehow found a way to exist outside the rules. After all, he is Captain America. Let me know your preferred theory down in the comments. I'd love to read what you all think about this. Which explanation makes more sense to you and gives Steve Rogers the send-off he deserves? Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into MCU lore, make sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. We've got a lot more Marvel mysteries to unravel. Until next time,